Uganda joins the world today.
On 5th September 1991, the Uganda Revenue Authority is born.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800 117 000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Good morning, Uganda, and welcome to our very first Tax MCHUZI episode for the month of March. My name is Anan Priska, and I'm going to be your moderator today as we discuss inclusion of teens in withholding and PAYE returns. In studio today, I'm joined by our tax expert, David Rusoke, who's going to walk us through this topic. David, would you please introduce yourself and just share a few opening remarks with the audience?
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for tuning in, and yes, I hope you learned something new. And yes, welcome aboard.
Thank you, David. So recently, the URA put out a public notice informing taxpayers that going forward, starting March 1st, all withholding and PAYE returns have to include teens. Yes. So what inspired this change, and what are some of the benefits for our dear taxpayers?
Thank you, thank you. Yes, what inspired this change is there's so many reasons, of course. You know, most employers are withholding agents. They withhold from their employees, and they are supposed to remit what they withhold to Uganda Revenue Authority. So what has been happening, because well, an employee will file their returns for the month, and let's assume the returns for pay as you earn for the month of January were filed by the 15th. The ones for February will be filed by the 15th of March. So what they've been doing is that they put the teens, they put the names of the employees, but they do not put the teens.
The teens,
And yet the real taxpayer is the employee, because from their gross is where they calculate the income tax, which is which becomes the pay as you earn, which they withhold and remit. Then for also withholding tax designated agents, what they would do is that they are authorized to withhold. So they withhold, and what they've not been doing is including the teens. So at times we don't know who the real taxpayer is. Yes, so that's what has been happening. Of course, at times they could leave out someone. If they have, maybe there are 12 employees, for those that were supposed to deduct from the employees, maybe they include 10, they include 9, but the person who is paying the tax is the employee or the other person, especially for local professionals. They usually deduct 6%, which they put in a withholding tax return, and it's also a monthly return, which is supposed to be filed by the 15th, and the money that was withheld is also supposed to be paid by the 15th. So what happens is that some withholding agents withhold the money and they keep it.
And
or at times they don't pay it, and when they don't put the tin of the employee of that money
from
from them, at source, and they're supposed to really remit it. But so there are a few challenges. The people whom they're remitting from cannot know, they can't account, and they can't even point a finger, but you find it was deducted, and maybe it was paid, maybe it wasn't, but you find we don't recognize that they are the people that paid the tax.
Oh, okay. And this sort of answers people's queries. Is my employer actually deducting this pay? Is he actually remitting it? So
Exactly.
I think with this, they'll be rest assured because you can keep tabs.
Yes.
Yes. So what if I'm an employee and I don't have a TIN, but my employer has been deducting? What should I do? Deducting pay, what do I do?
Thank you. If you are an employee, it's very easy right now. We use instant TIN. You go
Okay.
to ura.go.ug and you go to instant TIN services, and you click on services. I think we will have a lot of demos going out.
Yes.
But it's the portal asks you for a name, an email, and a phone number. Once you put that, it will also ask you for the details of the employer,
Okay.
the name, and the TIN. Once you put those, you click and you'll have your TIN in less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes with instant TIN, you will be able to get your taxpayer identification number. Yes.
Okay. And what are the other extended benefits of an employee having a TIN? What are some of the benefits to that?
Yes, there are very many benefits of having your TIN, because you're able to do so many things. For starters, there is the fact that if you have that TIN and you've paid, you will see your contribution.
Yes, you can.
If you
keep
file a
tabs.
return, you will be able to see your contribution annually as you file your annual returns. But the other, so someone is not deducting, and we may not even recognize that you contributed to the development of Uganda. So I think that is very
That's
important,
very important
for me to know that, yes, I contributed. The other thing is, of course, you can't own a car.
Okay. Oh,
You
yes.
can't import goods and services if you don't have a TIN. And right now, of course, for those who especially are doing business, you might not get a trading license, because we are working with the local authorities to ensure by the time you get what we will call a coin or a number which recognizes you on the other side, you will have, by the time you get a license, you must have a TIN. The point is, that means you won't be able to do business,
Yes.
especially when you're paying stamp duty, especially having owned land, or you're making a land transaction. We need to see, because you are the one paying. So then, of course, we have the biggest business, I'll call them the biggest business community, is largely government and the large taxpayers and the medium taxpayers. That means you'll fall out of that bracket. You won't participate in the economy if you can't transact with those people, you can't supply them, and yet that's where the business is.
That's true.
Government and the large taxpayers and the medium taxpayers, and really people who are in different towns, most of them have things, and they need to claim their input even as we sell. So we will have challenges if you don't have a TIN. And for some places of employment, you might also not get into employment. They will ask you,
for a TIN.
please, yes, on set, yes, you passed the interview, but do you have a TIN?
Yes.
Or even if they are employing you on short term, they will ask, do you have a TIN? Then even getting contracts, some of the pre-qualifications require you to have a TIN. If you're going to supply many of these people, they want people who have formalized, and part of the formalization process is you having your taxpayer identification number, because in the Income Tax Act, and ideally for an expenditure to be allowed, you have to have dealt with people who have TINs, especially where the expenditure is 5 million and above. You must have the TIN. So that means you remain, down there.
Down.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those are it. but at times banks might also
get a
not
loan.
allow, yes, because if you even have a savings account, look, there is some interest which, or if you have a fixed deposit,
Yes.
there is that fixed deposit interest which will be really accredited to your team. So and guess what? They might not even pay it if you don't have a team. So on the other side, it's important for you. But those are among the
Some of the reasons.
yes the
Why an
reasons
employee
why
should
you
get
should
a-
have a team.
have a
And
team.
right now with our IFRIS, yes, you find that actually once they put your team, you know, all those let me call it transactions are put into your team, and they will help you account better. So there's a part of you being able to also follow through your transactions, because you
Yes.
will get the e-invoice in your email, okay?
Okay.
Once
okay.
you give them the tin. So I can imagine there will be a challenge there. Then, of course, let's assume you're dealing with national water. You also need a tin. Let us talk about umeme. So the list is growing, but eventually you will find you might not be able to get utilities if you also don't have it. So ideally, you really
Need a tin.
must have your team.
Yes, the rewards are endless. And to our taxpayers, the how-to on how to register via Instant Tin, the videos are available on our YouTube channel, so feel free to go to visit our channel or our Twitter or Facebook and just access some of that material. It will guide you so that you do not struggle. But in the event someone is, you know, an employer or an employee or a withholding tax agent is struggling with this whole process of including TINs in their payee in their returns, how can they get help? You know, who do they call? You know, if they need help.
For starters, most of our processes have really been simplified. Like you've heard about the instant team. 5 minutes, you don't have to leave the comfort of your office, home. You go to ura.go.ug and go to services, you will see instant team. A few requirements which identify you. Your name is very key. Once you have that, you have an email, you'll be able to get your team in 5. And of course, you could also get your team if you have rental income, okay, property income. So if you have business income, you could, but I would like to request that we should also go ahead to formalize and get a registered name, which a BRN, so as to carry out business. And if that doesn't work, then of course we have so many offices, almost in every town. We have more than 40 offices spread across this country. Kindly come to our offices if they are near. Come and someone will help you register. If that is not really working, then of course there is also our toll-free line where you can call 0800 11 7000 and someone will guide you and help, but you need to be near a gadget where you can really
Access your account.
you can be guided to carry out the whole exercise. And let's assume there's also an email. You can again send us an email and we'll be on the other side and try to get in touch with you and guide you where you're having any issues. We've also tried to do the instant tin for non-individuals. We're trying, but just in case, there is an Excel sheet that you can download to your tab, your computer, and fill it in and put details. It requires a little more information on your address, where you're located, and again, once you fill that in, of course, Instant Tin has, but the Excel sheet is more, you fill it in and upload it, and thereafter print out the forms and submit them. We also have a self-help desk. Most of our offices have a self-help desk. If you're having issues with connectivity, you can walk into our offices and there will be a computer. Yeah, you might find someone to help you, but it's free. We charge, by the way, a team is free. But more than that, most of our offices have help, self-help, where, yes, you're computer literate, just go in and ask them, where can you help me with the computer, where I can be able to apply. That will also work for you. So there are very many options. Email, toll-free line, WhatsApp. Yes, if you go to our, but we also have a WhatsApp where you can chat with us, and someone will be on the other side to try and help you on registration. So there's quite a cocktail of services able to help. And I'm sure if you know your staff, you could also call them. Quite a number, but we will help everyone, and it is free of charge. If someone is asking you for money, then you've gone to the wrong place. Walk into our office. The alternatives. Access any of our contact points where we can help you.
Okay. Thank you, David. That's been very conclusive, very insightful. I'm sure our taxpayers, whenever they need help, they'll know where to go. And so, David, back to, there's a scenario. I'm an employee, and I'm an employer, sorry, and I am deducting PAYE from my employees, right? But I am not, they don't have TINs, and I'm not remitting it to URA. So in that case, what's the way forward? Yes.
Okay, if you're an employer.
Yeah.
Yes, for the employers out there, for starters, beginning March, you will not be able to file that return without TINs of the employees.
Okay.
And same for the other one, the withholding tax return. Yes. So we have put out. There's, of course, we have informed you in press, and you'll not be able to. So we're encouraging you to. If there are many employees, you could reach out to us, to our offices, and we help you. Teach one person, and then maybe he will help the rest. First of all, get their details. It's important for you to get their details, and then we could come and teach and help your staff to apply. But we could help with one person who will be able to again help the rest.
Okay, so David,
I think the HR function can help in some of our contacts,
reaching out
our employers. Yes, but if you don't have that, and maybe you're seated in your office, you have 4 or 5, then it's very easy. But we need you, for starters, get their details, and that includes the NIN. It also includes phone number, email. Don't use one email, because a NIN is private. Kindly let them have their own emails. Let's assume maybe they don't have that, they're computer illiterate, and they don't have. Then help them as an employer to tell them this is your email, and yes, just like many of us didn't have phones, but later we graduated, everyone has a phone and a smartphone at that. Let's help our people, and we get them TINs, and then they'll be able to use them in the Excel sheet to file and account for
your tax obligations.
Yes, their pay that is deducted.
Okay. So what I'm getting is, if I am filing my returns and I do not include these TINs, automatically I will not be able to upload.
Yes, the Excel sheet
has been designed
not be able to allow you to
proceed.
You will not proceed. You'll not be able to submit it.
Okay.
But again, that's also non-compliance, and
that's
just kindly let us comply with the
directives.
Yes, let us comply. Let us honor obligations.
Well, it's for the better anyways. So yes, tax compliance is always the cheaper option, without a doubt. So the notice also mentioned that this is mandatory for all resident persons. Yes. So if I am a non-resident, this doesn't apply?
Yes. When you look at especially the withholding tax return,
okay,
you'll find there are so many. Okay, the different columns ask for different details, but most of the local professionals or they are withholding tax agents who are supposed to deduct from the residents, and the residents are defined in the Income Tax Act as those who have a permanent home, those who have been in Uganda for 183 days within
certain
financial year, or 122 days in subsequent years, 122 days in say 2 years when you come in and go. But the thing is, this is for residents. Residents are those who are in the country. There are those who are non-residents, but they do business here, or you find that they don't have a TIN. They don't have the requirements that can enable them to get a TIN, and the tax rates are also different. So when we recognize them as residents, we will not be able to upload without the TIN. For non-residents, however, for non-residents, it will not be mandatory.
It's not mandatory.
It will not, yes, it will not lock you in, but it's locked in, especially for residents, as long as the resident. And of course, their tax rates are different.
Yes.
Non-resident rates, I don't encourage you, because the non-resident rates are for non-residents, unless you want to pay more than you should pay. So let's say the truth. In order not to have higher obligations.
More than we're supposed to.
More than we don't want more than you're supposed to pay. Fair. We don't want less than you're supposed to. Want the exact amount at the right time, and then government can honor its obligations to its citizens.
Thank you, David. I believe you have exhaustively explained and walked us through this, the public notice and this new policy. And as we wind up, I would like to request that you share your parting shots with the audience, then we can wrap up.
Okay. Thank you very much to our employers and withholding tax agents. This is good, because the people that you are deducting this money from are the real contributors. They are the ones paying the tax. Kindly, we thank you, first of all, for doing business and ensuring that you are, yes, you're honoring your obligations, you have formalized your businesses, and you're at this point and you're doing well. Thank you. But let's take it a step further and ensure that we bring the real people, because their tax credit is needed. For the people, especially who are withholding tax agents, when you don't put the TIN, that means they don't get their credit. That means they will also have high tax liability, and yet this credit is allowed to reduce on their obligations. So it is important for you to deduct and pay it, and don't keep it. If we come, you'll be in trouble. You'll have to pay interest for keeping that money, and there are other punitive measures and enforcement measures which we will carry out, and we don't want to get into that space. So that's why we are here, and we request that kindly carry out your due diligence and ensure that you deduct and bring it on time. If there is anything else that you want us to do to equip you and help you, apart from our web portal where you can get information, please call us. And if there's some allowances you don't understand, even the definition of residency and non-residency, if there's something that you're not very clear about, we're on the other side of the call, ready to help you. And we have offices
All over the country.
all over Uganda. Then to the employees, thank you for, yes, you've been contributing, but most of this might not have been recognized. But right now, we will be able to recognize your contribution. So make sure that you have that tin, give it to your employer, and get the right tin. Keep it and use it, and you can check, log in, find out. When you go to your ledger, you'll be able to see, especially where 6% was deducted or someone has been deducted. You will get an email, of course, you'll get a message, and you'll be able to see how much has been deducted. You'll get what we call a tax credit certificate, and it's a PDF. You can keep that forever and know that, yes, this is my contribution. For the employees, yes, if you don't understand what is being deducted, we're ready to explain it to you and show you that indeed money was deducted and remitted to your. If it's not, then we can also enforce and ensure that that which has been deducted has been brought for Uganda, for the government of Uganda to be able to take care of you. And again, for those who are prospective, please visit our offices for us in the right direction. We'll be able to use our teams to understand, to see what transactions are happening, and also be able to account for exactly what tax we are paying. I know, and maybe I can add this, we at some point asked people to ask for your receipt, receipt yang. And I want to say, when you go into a supermarket, give your tin, and that amount of money you're paying, you'll be able to get the e-receipt in your email, and you'll account for even the VAT that you paid. So there are very many advantages for you having a team. So go ahead, that's where we are going, and we'll keep coming back. We'll keep going to different databases. So let's work together and develop Uganda together. That's it from me, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. That has been very insightful, very exhaustive. I'm sure our taxpayers don't have any questions. So just to, for our taxpayers out there, please, come on board, get your